Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we've got a few stories doing the round. United being linked with a player from Lyon, sort of. We'll be getting into that. Also, could the goalkeeper, Andre Onana, obviously, been heading out the Old Trafford door? And also, could Jadon Sancho be coming back through it? Let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and the weather's actually all right, you know. I probably don't even need my coat. Loads of stories to get on with, so we will crack on. Before we do, though, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers, and with your support, yes, you, we can get there. One of the biggest stories doing the rounds this morning, and it's been tweeted out by David Ornstein and one or two others, is about Jadon Sancho's potential return to Manchester United. Now, the fee that Chelsea would have to pay if they decided not to sign Jadon Sancho has been announced as £5 million. So it's going to cost Chelsea £5 million if they decide we don't want to sign Jadon Sancho. United can have him back. That would be like almost like a punishment. They'd be penalised to the tune of £5 million. Now, when this transfer was first announced, a loan with an obligation to buy, it looked like it was sort of set in stone. That was it. I think the original sort of agreement was that if Chelsea finished above 14th or 14th and above, then they would have to sign Jadon Sancho for £25 million. And it looked like that kind of made sense, especially when you saw Jadon Sancho start to his Chelsea career. I think he got a few goal involvements in those first few games. However, the wheels have well and truly come off for him at Stamford Bridge. I think he's got one in the Premier League. I think he's got one goal involvement in his last 13 or 14 games. I think it might be 14 games, actually. He's not really been setting the world alight. He's been getting some grief off Chelsea fans as well. I saw some of the reaction to, I think it was the Brighton game, the first Brighton game they played, where they played Brighton sort of back-to-back or very close together. The first one, he was getting a lot of stick. He hasn't been involved in any goals or assists of late, and his performances haven't been good enough. And now Chelsea fans, and perhaps Chelsea, the club themselves, are looking at Jadon Sancho as being a luxury they probably can afford him, but they don't need to afford. So paying £5 million for a player, to get rid of a player you don't want, might make sense to them. It does feel like that is the way this is heading. A few months ago, you'd have thought, no chance, they're definitely going to sign him. Now it looks as though maybe it's 50-50. I don't know. Let me know. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know what you think. But Jadon Sancho certainly needs to do more in a Chelsea shirt if he is going to justify them paying £25 million for his services. And they may just decide, you know what, we're better off paying £5 million to get rid of him. Now, Enzo Maresca has given him a lot of opportunities. He does seem to rate Jadon Sancho. He does play the vast majority of games for Chelsea. He's been getting minutes. It's not like he hasn't had that opportunity. He's just not been taking the opportunities he's been given. And it's sad to see, because this was a player that I remember standing here a few years ago, well, what was it, 5-6 years ago, talking almost constantly about Jadon Sancho coming from Dortmund to Manchester United. We were linked with him for so long, we chased him for so long, we were trying to get hold of him, we finally got him, and everyone was buzzing about that. You look at the amount of goal involvements he'd had at Dortmund in that final season, it was basically a goal involvement every game. It was like Lionel Messi numbers. He'd helped them get into the Champions League, he'd helped them win the German Cup as well. I think he got a couple of goals in the final. He was like one of the most sought after players in Europe, obviously with the likes of Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland had formed that sort of triumvirate that had smashed it for Dortmund as well. However, since he's arrived at Old Trafford, it didn't work out. A few good moments. You look at the goal against City away, Liverpool here, of course. But on the whole, it just didn't work out. Ole couldn't get a tune out of him. Ralf Rangnick couldn't get a tune out of him. Erik ten Hag couldn't get a tune out of him. Ruben Amorim hasn't really seen him, obviously. He just went to Chelsea. And now it seems like Maresca can't get a tune out of him either. So it's sad to see in a way, but you've got to look at Jadon Sancho himself. He's sort of been the architect of his own downfall. I don't think it's a lack of talent. I think he's a very talented individual. Is it his mindset? I don't know. You get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know what you think. Is it the Premier League? Is he just not cut out for the Premier League? Maybe that is a bit of an issue for him as well. Now, Sky are claiming that Chelsea will still go ahead with the deal, although who knows, could that change? Get involved in the chat in the comments. Let us know what you think. One player who could be heading out of the Old Trafford door, and this is a bit of a left field one, but we've seen this in the Manchester Evening News, and I've seen it published in other papers as well, a couple of other publications running with it, is this idea that Andre Onana could be surplus to requirements in the summer. There's talk of him maybe moving to Saudi Arabia. Now, this would have seemed sort of far-fetched a few months ago. You looked at it and you thought Andre Onana was doing quite well. United had other areas we need to strengthen in. We obviously need a striker, probably need another wing-back, probably need another central midfielder, might even need a new centre-back as well. Is goalkeeper a priority? However, his performances haven't been great overall. I have to add the fact that I think the last few games he's been much better. if you look at some of the performances we've seen in the last couple of weeks in particular, he has been performing at a better standard. But since Ruben Amorim has arrived, has Andre Onana been performing at the standard that you'd expect from Manchester United goalkeeper? Probably not. And there's rumours now and reports that maybe Ruben Amorim is looking at the goalkeeping areas somewhere he needs to strengthen. He's not been helped as well, Ruben Amorim, by the fact that Bayern is injured, even Tom Eater's injured as well. So we're at the bare bones when it comes to goalkeepers. So if he wanted to try someone else, he hasn't got many options. He could maybe throw in one of the youngsters, but that would be a massive gamble, and I don't think it'd be worth it if I'm being brutally honest. So Andre Onana is going to be the goalkeeper here, and probably the first choice goalkeeper at the end of the season. Maybe there's a situation where the manager sort of assesses it at the end of the campaign and says, look, let's see, how did he get on? Is he the man that I can rely on, or do we need to look elsewhere? One of the issues you've got if you're going to try and replace a goalkeeper is you've got other areas, like I mentioned, that you need to strengthen as well. However, if there were some decent offers from Saudi or somewhere else, maybe Andre Onana could be sold for a decent bit of money, and you could use that money to fund a new goalkeeper. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Andre Onana might not want to go to Saudi Arabia. He's still quite young for a goalkeeper, and he's in his 20s. He's still got a lot of football left in him. He might not want to go to Saudi Arabia. He might want to play at Manchester United, might want to stay and fight for his place, or he might want to go to another top league in Europe. Let me know what you think about Andre Onana. Get involved in the chat and the comments. There was a time when we were praising him. I think we did a video about how well he'd been performing earlier on in the season, but then he had a really bad run of form. However, it has picked up a little bit of late, and hopefully he can continue that recent good form towards the end of the season. Couple of other stories doing the rounds as well. There's a sort of an opinion piece with a bit of news sort of tied into it, I think, in the Express, about Rayan Cherki, the kid from Lyon. Obviously United are going to face Lyon in the Europa League. There's sort of these reports that United are looking at and they could be interested in him. It feels a little bit more opinion based than factually based, because, to be honest with you, I've not seen anything that says United are ready to make a bid or even properly scouting him. It's a case of he's doing really well. I think he's got about 26 goal involvements in 34 games in this campaign, which is phenomenal numbers. We're going to face him. It's an area where we could strengthen him. 21 years old. Makes a lot of sense that maybe we could be getting him. So, or not getting him, but maybe we could be looking at him. We're gonna see him out with plays for Lyon. If he does really well against United, expect those rumours to increase, or those reports to increase. I think he's been linked with one or two other clubs as well. He's one of those sought after prospects, and obviously he's got this. Not obviously, I'm going to tell you. There's a report that he's got a deal with Lyon that he can leave in the summer. So that's probably added to the rumour mill about him going as well. So one to keep an eye on. I don't look into that too much as a sort of transfer that's going to happen, but it's one that's maybe worth keeping an eye on to see if it gathers any sort of momentum. And if he does well against Manchester United in the Europa League, then everyone's going to be saying we need to go and sign that lad Cherki. So just keep your eye on that one. Just another couple of stories to go through. Denmark were beaten 5-2 by Portugal in the Nations League, but as United have tweeted out this morning, the red contingent did quite well. I think there was a goal and an assist for Christian Eriksen, and I think Dorgu got an assist as well. So there's some that they've tweeted out this morning. Like, it's not all doom and gloom, despite the fact they got battered 5-2. If you care about that sort of thing, I'm not a really big fan of international football, but we want to see our players doing well, don't we, on that front. Also, there's an interesting piece in The Athletic about the stadium, about how there might not be this stadium that's been planned, might not be the stadium that originally was planned or is being planned with a 100,000 seat stadium and these tridents and all the rest of it. We're gonna get into that another time as well. We'll do a bit of a deep dive. Matt Slater in The Athletic's done an article on that, a really interesting one, so I will get into that. So make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that. I've been Jay Motti. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.